Well, we've got more important things to think about right now, to be brutally honest. Oh.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 funniest moments on Clarkson's farm.
Well, I mean, I'm just completely at a loss. I'm at a loss. I don't know. Look at the ecological work I'm doing here.
Might want to drop the topper down, it might help a little bit. Rookie error.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the most hilarious moments from Jeremy Clarkson's latest outing. Let us know in the comments whether you'd ever start a farm of your own. Number 10. The Shard. Clarkson enlists his dependable farmhand Caleb to take a load of freshly grown wasabi into London and find a Japanese restaurant to flog it to.
I think we've got the jobs a little bit wrong today.
Go to London, sell wasabi, don't take less than £300, and I'll see you back here tonight.
Over the course of the show, we've learned that Caleb's actually never been beyond the village and has never stepped foot in the nation's capital city, so he's out of his depth on the ride down.
I don't understand, we don't keep telling me to turn left.
Turn right into Grosvenor Place.
What are you beeping me at?
But in the end, far from being bowled over by everything London has to offer, Caleb's ultimately unimpressed. He even visits a restaurant in the Shard, the UK's tallest building, and tells his mum just how little he thinks of it.
I'm at the Shard. Ever heard of it? It's like a big building in London, it's not very good, like 1,000 feet up in the air.
Number 9. Shouting.
Is that not good enough for you, that mess you've done there, and you had to do another mess
Yeah,
up
but
there?
Sam Mendes called. He's thinking of doing 1918.
What was wrong with that mess? Why did you have to do a new mess?
While trying to construct some wetlands, Clarkson finally gets tired of everybody taking out their frustrations on him and wants to know why everybody's always shouting.
Why does everybody shout at me all the time? Literally, I get up in the morning and people shout at me.
In this case, they were shouting at him for absolutely destroying a huge portion of his own land by being incredibly reckless with a digger during poor weather.
This is not wilding. That's damage. You know, you've got to stop doing it.
And other times, it's for spending too much money, not getting his paperwork in order quickly enough, or trying to cut corners with ridiculous antics, like using a drone as a sheepdog because he doesn't want to pay a shepherd at first.
It flies around, herds the sheep, barking at them. They think it's an airborne dog.
Number 8. No storage room. It's finally the moment of truth, as a whole year has passed, and now it's time for Clarkson to reap what he's sown.
About 40 or 50 tons of rape still to go. So where do I put the barley?
After spending a few days harvesting rapeseed, poor weather means that it's too moist to harvest anymore, so attention turns to the barley instead. Except he hasn't thought through where he's gonna put all the barley because he's only got one barn and it's nowhere near big enough for his crops.
You can't store it, you'll have to just literally dump it up there and then sell it straight away.
What, today?
He can't mix the rape and the barley together, so instead, he needs to try and shift a large quantity of barley in one day. And he can't even do that right, because he doesn't order anywhere near enough lorries.
You do not listen. You switch off. Probably switch off now, you don't even know what I'm saying now, probably.
Number 7. Sheep auction.
I went to a nearby market to buy stock, and immediately there was a problem.
Early on in the series, Clarkson decides he's going to try his hand at sheep farming so that he can keep the grass down in his fields. The first step in this process is, of course, going to buy some sheep.
I know how my mum felt when she was trying to buy a car. They all look exactly the same. Or my dad, when he was listening to pop music.
Like everybody without a background in agriculture, he's baffled by the different breeds of sheep and which one he should get. He's told that North Country mules are easy, but it doesn't seem that way at first. There's not only the inscrutable accent of the auctioneer to contend with, but also the distressed sheep, one of which actually headbutts somebody in the audience at the auction.
Oh!
It's a dramatic way to get introduced to livestock, that's for sure.
By nodding occasionally, I seem to be buying stuff.
133, 134, 134.5, 135.
And I was.
Number 6, electric shock.
I cannot wait to eat them. I cannot wait.
It turns out that the stone walls are too low, and the sheep will just jump over them and escape. So Jeremy needs to get himself an electric fence to keep them penned in. However, setting up an electric fence is easier said than done. First, he has to buy the fence and then trail it around the field's boundaries himself, and then it doesn't even work right away. He finds out when he tests it.
Oh, gug! You bastard!
Not satisfied to be the only person on the farm to suffer a shock, when he does get it running, he also convinces Lisa to test it as well with a piece of grass.
Oh yeah. Get on.
Number 5, caravans.
And I get on really well with them because I've always been incredibly nice
Yeah,
about
all
caravans.
about caravans, yeah, brilliant.
I've always said really kind things.
It is a truth universally acknowledged that Jeremy Clarkson hates caravans, along with the other members of the Grand Tour trio. So things were bound to get a little uncomfortable when he needed to borrow the electricity supply of the nearby caravan park to get his farm shop up and running. He has to be on his best behavior and strike a deal which involves him becoming the public face of the caravan park in exchange for power.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Clarkson, and as I've always said, you can't beat a caravan holiday.
We thought we'd never see the day that Clarkson goes on record to endorse some caravans, and it was certainly a sight to behold.
So come on, beat those Brexit blues and take your holiday this year in a good old British field. You won't regret it.
Number 4, stuck.
Right, this is a complete job.
Clarkson's penchant for the most powerful way to do anything comes back to bite him when he tries to make a wetland on his property. He wrangles a digger and takes it down to where he wants to build a pond, but the ground is far too wet.
I'm not touching anything and I'm just moving down. Oh, shit.
Not only does he destroy much of the land, but he also gets stuck and can't get the digger out again. Caleb arrives to help, but it's all to no avail. They have to leave and return the following day, this time with 3 tractors, all pulling each other to get free of the ditch. And then he gets an unsympathetic telling off from Charlie for making such a mess.
We're making an omelette and some eggs have been broken.
Number 3, interviewing the village.
Put them in the farm shop. Except the farm shop's not built and I haven't got planning permission.
Initially, Jeremy's request for permission to build a farm shop is denied by the village, which assumes it's going to cause chaos and will harm local businesses.
The village has objected to my farm shop plan.
Amazon's camera crew ventured into Chadlington to talk with the villagers themselves, and it turns out they've really got a bone to pick with Clarkson. They don't like the havoc he's wreaked in his Grand Tour antics, like blowing stuff up and driving fast, gas-guzzling supercars.
It's a little old-fashioned village.
It's understandable since Clarkson certainly isn't everybody's cup of tea, but still funny to see the villagers tear him a new one in the talking heads.
And we never know what Jeremy's going to do next.
I mean, he blew up his house.
And then the farm shop attracts far more customers than anyone can handle. Number 2, kicked by a sheep.
He said the sheep were rubbing themselves on their hen houses because they were hot and itchy, which meant it was time to shear them.
It's summer and the sheep are getting too hot, which means it's time to shear them. Another aspect of sheep farming Clarkson's not yet done. Once again, he has Kevin from the NSA and his trusty shepherd Ellen to help him, who proves herself to be a sheep shearer extraordinaire, as you'd expect from a shepherd.
I want to have a go at that. Can I do the next one?
Clarkson, on the other hand, is nothing of the sort, and gets kicked between the legs by an upset sheep on his very first attempt at shearing.
I'm going to get kicked. Oh, it's got me in the testes. Oh, that's a... Right.
In fairness, wrestling and shearing an aggravated sheep isn't for the faint of heart. Hopefully, he'll one day get the hang of it.
Now we've got a relaxed relationship going on. Whoa!
Number 1, big tractor.
Having finished my test drive, I made a decision and bought this.
Because this is Jeremy Clarkson, he can't settle for a small, sensible tractor. He has to buy the biggest tractor he can possibly find, which turns out to be an enormous Lamborghini. The Lambo gets him into all kinds of scrapes during the show. It's extremely complicated, all the menus are written entirely in German, and it's also not compatible with British farm equipment at the beginning, since it has a German hitch.
It's alright, Google Translate. Page not found.
He has to get it modified so that it can actually attach the right machines to it and do its job. And then, in the last episode, everything comes full circle. His huge tractor ends up blocking the roads of Chipping Norton.
Fully aware that having complained for years about tractors holding up traffic, I was now in a tractor holding up traffic.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.